ladies and gentlemen, let's go now into PWR Interactive. Unfortunately, Frank is not able to join us this week for PWR Interactive. He's got some slapping to do. So Frank will be back next week.
Butt.
Let's talk about a couple of your emails. The first is from Nigel McGuire from Ireland. I wonder if Nigel likes to fight. He says a couple of things. I love your show. I view your show every week, rather. Great job on a gripping show. A gripping show. In the past, some people, mainly on forum boards, put down The Undertaker for not wrestling week in and week out, stating that for this reason, he should not be champ. In my opinion, this is a great opportunity for WWE to excel the SmackDown brand and increase the value of the World Heavyweight Championship. He gives several points to which that can happen. First, he talks about Undertaker being, he's getting on a bit, meaning he's getting old and will not have the stamina to perform every week. Resting him for the big matches can only lead to him having better matches. Only have him wrestle in championship matches. I disagree on that one. It'll lead to greater anticipation for the Undertaker's matches if people do not see him perform every week. You're basically talking about Hoganizing the Undertaker.
There used to be a rule by WWE President Jack Tunney that said you had to defend the belt once every 30 days.
And a couple people got stripped of the title as a result. Or when they had to make a match on the fly, it was the end of the 30 days since they defended the title, so they had to defend it that week. Instant angle right there, folks. He sums it up with, I'm sick of Undertaker and Batista, Michaels and Cena, week in, week out. In case you haven't noticed, I love anticipation. This is Nigel McGuire from Ireland.
Thank you, Nigel.
Thank you, Nigel. Charmel Jackson from Harlem, New York says...
You sure that's not Queen Charmel?
When I saw the email pop up, I thought it was. The WWE has lost 7 main eventers with injury or personal issues. 1 Triple H quad, 2 King Booker with a knee injury. Lashley may be out for a while, not really. Undertaker, of course. RVD's contract expiration. Randy Orton getting punished. And Edge needing surgery eventually. I'm not sure what the status is of that, but right now, the question that Chamel has is, do you guys know how they would deal with this in the coming weeks or months with all that talent missing? I think we pretty much addressed that issue earlier in WWE news.
I don't think WWE sees it this way, but I do. I think maybe they need to strike back and take a TNA star.
Hey guys, this is from Ryan Patstone from Sanford, Maine. I love your show, and Meathead come, WrestleMania 24. I hope your megaphone is ready for... Come on, get on it here, boy.
Kennedy!
I just have to know your thoughts on what seems to be a title push for Great Khali. It seems to me that WWE is going to try a new aged Andre Hogan bout. And yes, Cena deserves more respect, and yes, he has ring credentials. But I don't see an exciting feud emerging between a man who is 60% of WWE fan base currently hates and a guy who has never been in front of a microphone before.
He's been in front of a microphone before, but he doesn't speak English. It's great.
Not to mention, he moves about as quickly as Kevin Nash on a bad day. Seems to me this whole thing is just going to end with an FU to a guy 80 pounds lighter than Big Show, great point, who's seen a FU a few years back at Survivor Series, and again at WrestleMania. Great email from Ryan Patstone. Also, bigger question on my book, too, is whatever happened to Johnny Nitro? We did see him come back in a singles match this past Raw. I think he needs to be thrown back into the Intercontinental title picture on Raw.
Also, Nitro not along with Melina anymore.
He is talent going to waste, much like Shelton Benjamin. Very, very good point.
I also have to add. I also have to add in on the why Shelton Benjamin. What's going on there? I mean, I really don't want to see Shelton right now because the guy just doesn't care.
Shelton Benjamin?
You can't.
In your opinion,
you can't see it. You can't see it looking at his matches. You can't see it looking at his Melton. I mean, it's again, people hate Cena, but they're ready to push. I want to see Carlitos, Shelton, Johnny Nitro. It's the same thing. Over and over. Give me something fresh.
John Healy from Bridgewater, Massachusetts, I believe. We mentioned his email last week, and you, Meathead, suggested that he be short and sweet, so he will be this week. He says, to Meathead, when I wrote that John Cena had a lack of wrestling ability, I was not trying to imply that he had none at all. I do insist, however, that the fans have come to expect a standard of workmanship from their main event players in the past few years. The Rock, Austin, Lesnar, Triple H, Jared, not going to work here anymore. While I do think John Cena has made strides and will continue to make strides, I do not believe he will get the response he is looking for until he develops his game some more.
I don't buy the developed game. Really, he's only allowed to do what he's told to do. He was allowed to do an hour match. Bam. The man did an hour match and worked in that hour match. Now, granted, it's an hour match. They had rest spots. You're going to have rest spots in a 60-minute Iron Man match, even though that's not what it was billed at.
Kyle Rawling Craw is what he is always known as. We did address your email about the current television situation in Wisconsin, and I appreciate your question on that. But regardless, the PWR show will never go away, as we obviously have some other vehicles in which to broadcast. Jose Perez, we have not heard from him in a while, says he's from Newark, New Jersey. I saw Backlash on Sunday and noted how Kennedy provided a teaser with possibly challenging for Cena's WWE title instead of the World Heavyweight title. I think Kennedy would be a great antagonist for Cena, should WWE Creative decide to go in that direction. Kennedy is slowly developing a crowd following dating back to his feud with Batista. Should WWE explore this possible angle, or should Kennedy remain a staple on SmackDown to generate interest in the lesser-rated brand?
Just like they did. I think they should tease it. Like Kennedy go, ooh, I don't know, I might come for it. Never mind. Never mind.
Jared Ledford of Dayton, Ohio talks about John Cena and says, I've gotten to the point where I think it needs to be said by someone other than you guys, meaning one of the fans, that John Cena is deserving of the WWE title. I understand why old school wrestling fans are not big Cena fans, but that's why Cena is so good at what he does. He appeals to the kids and the women, and they in turn cheer. And as for most of the men,
that's
and especially those of the old school fan base, they boo. He really gives us the best of both worlds. Just as a side note to the drama he creates amongst fans, he has quite a few really great matches. The match on Raw with HBK was incredible, one of the best I've seen on Raw in some time, and also his match with Umaga was very well done, and his handling of WrestleMania 22, his match with Triple H was awesome. Bottom line to Cena haters, you are one of the reasons he is on top. And if you still don't like him, you better get used to him because he's not going anywhere. Very well written by Jared.
I want to add, I want to piggyback on top of it. I want to piggyback on top of that little message. You know what? All the people are talking about, boy, oh, God, wrestling's just killing me over and over and over. I can't wait till Triple H shows up and Jericho comes back. When Cena disappears, 6 months after that, you're going to say the same thing about Cena. My God, I miss Cena.
Triple H returned in 2001 Raw from Madison Square Garden after the first quad injury. The pop that he got was definite. And Triple H, a huge face, people, as you just said, had realized how great he was and how absent he was.
You know, when he showed up, you know what he did in 3 months' time?
Turned heel?
No, he took my guy's belts.
Who's your guy? Who?
Because the undisputed champ was Chris Jericho.
Jonathan Torres from the Bronx replies to Frank's question last week from PWR Interactive, which was your first thoughts or memory of wrestling for him. I'm 21 and I've been watching wrestling since I was 2.5. But my first really clear and vivid memory is when I was watching WrestleMania 6. To this day, I still think Hogan Warrior was one of the greatest WrestleMania events of all time. Sure. That match had so many variables in it, and nobody really knew who was going to walk out with the
first big profile face-face match.
Exactly.
Thank you for chiming in with all that insight.
Very detailed email from Matt Briner from Lewistown, Pennsylvania. Love that. It's a lot in here, talking a lot about ROH and talking about the competition, if you will, between WWE and there. Question from Brian from New Hampshire, Meathead. My question is, do you ever see TNA competing with WWE like WCW used to?
Sure, at some point. It's not going to happen in the next 6 months like everybody thinks it's going to happen. When they get a 2-hour slot, that's not what's going to do it.
This is from Joe P. I can read that. He says, hey, man, how come the newest show for the 27th is only 4 minutes long? By the way, I love the show. You two are awesome together, obviously referring to Frank and I. We have obviously given you some more options on the website to watch the show either in segments or the full show if you want. The full show will return this week. Our research indicated that many of you were not watching the entire show, so we gave the opportunity for a lot of you to watch only segments of the show or watch it throughout the week. Give yourself a treat every day and watch a segment of PWR. However, again, folks, the full version of the show will return to the website this week. And obviously in our television markets of Topeka, Nome, and Milwaukee, you have the show available on TV almost every day of the week. This is from Kirby Fitzgerald, great name, from Wilmington, Delaware. I really enjoy the show.
Delaware is still a state.
You two remind me of WWF commentary during the 80s. Can I be Gorilla Monsoon?
I'd have to be Brandon just because I'm an antagonist and I have to try to upset you.
I've noticed that several ECW stars appear to be swollen in the face. 2 examples would be Big Show a few months back when he was champion and RVD from Tuesday Night. Why do you think the ECW superstars are looking so haggard lately? Is there something in the water?
It's not the vitamin water, like the meathead drinks, but it could be the cycling down.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is PWR Interactive. Keep those emails coming, folks. We read them all. We only can choose a select few to read on air. And keep in mind, we do have the PWR forum available. It's our message board, which now features the chat room, which I'm sure will be blowing up during Raw, SmackDown, ECW, and TNA Impact and pay-per-view events. Come on in to the PWR community.
And we've been known to jump in there.